Hey friends, it's Walking with John. I'm back from Wall Springs Park over there in Palm Harbor. Settled back into the Hilton, my home away from home. I'm not getting any support from them, of course, but I sure appreciate their hotel. They've got a really nice hotel here, and it's very comfortable and clean, and I'm always happy to be back here. Anyway, I was over at Wall Springs Park, went for my little walk, and I got back here and I thought, you know what, I really need to make a video and talk more about the Florida Trail, because that's what my channel is about, the Florida Trail. And so I got to put in another plug for this Florida Trail guide. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this before, but if you haven't, like, I highly recommend it. The Florida Trail guide. I've been spending a lot of time with it over the past couple of weeks. It was written by Sandra Friend, Friend, and John Keatley, Keatley. Wonderful, wonderful book. Just, it's incredible the detail they go into. I don't know who did all this work for them, but if you're going to hike the Florida Trail, like, you really need to get one of these things, because this is going to allow us, including me, to really spend a little bit of time and get organized and think about my hike. The details here are incredible, you know, and I'm looking through the whole book, how it works, and I'm trying to get familiar with it a little bit at a time. But of course, what I'm really interested in is what I'm going to be doing over this year here in Central Florida, the Florida Trail pieces that are here in Central Florida that I can go ahead and kind of work on as I work up and get ready for the Thru-Hike. So I was looking today, I wanted to show you guys, I wanted to read to you guys. I think, like, the next stop I'm planning to make, you guys know I'm just 5 days after my surgery, and it's just a hernia surgery, but I think it kind of, you know, they cut a big hole in my belly, so it was a little bit, it's still a little bit sore, like 5 days later. You know, I was out walking on that little trail today, but it's still a little bit sore. So I want to take it easy and not push it, but I do want to keep my eyes forward and thinking about which way I'm going. And I want to do the whole trail. And so anyway, I was looking today and I wanted to show you guys, like, look at the detail on this map. Like, it's showing Dade City, which is not far here from Tampa. And then I think the next visit I'm going to be able to make, I believe either the next one, because I want to stay focused on the Florida Trail in this on this channel, on this YouTube channel. But I really would like to get up to the Richloam Trailhead, and the Richloam Trailhead is right at 367, 368, mile 367, 68, 69, right in there. And it says, this is the primary trailhead for Richloam and is located down a series of reasonably well-kept dirt roads off SR 50 at the Richloam Fire Tower. Now, I've been up to Richloam before, because that's where, like, the oldest country store in Florida is located, and I've been up there at that actual store. But in the next week or so, like, when I return to the trail following this surgery, that's going to be my plan to kind of look out, find that Richloam Trailhead and take you guys on a walk up there through Richloam. Now, I know some of you may be familiar with it or be up there before, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So that's why I'm back on here tonight. Like, I get so pumped, and I just can't tell you guys how much joy this book has brought me. Like, for years and years and years, I looked at the AT books, and I'm very familiar with all the AT books, you know, going all the way back to the walking in the wilderness guys that they made the movie out of with Robert Redford and all that stuff back then. Like, I'm very familiar with it. But you know what? I think, like, for me, and I've said it before on this channel, but for me, like, the AT really is the big kahuna. Like, I can't lie. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. The AT, for me, at my age and my fitness level, to me, like, that's still, like, way out there. Like, that's like my ultimate goal, you know. But for me, like, the Florida Trail the Florida Trail is doable. Not only because I live here and I live in Central Florida, I live in the Orlando area, so that means that when I start early in the season and I start coming up this way, I'm going to have some time at home if I need it or as I need it. It's going to be, logistically, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier for my wife and my family and all that kind of stuff. And it's still a concern of mine, even though I am at my age, I'm older and I'm 63 years old. But I still don't want to be a hardship upon my family or anything like that. But I am getting to the point where I'm able to kind of get out there and be a little bit more able to go if I want to go. And that's really where I'm at and what I want to do. And so I just got to keep putting a plug in. Like if you guys are thinking about the Florida Trail and you want to do the Florida Trail or you're thinking about it, I highly, highly recommend you pick up this book. I highly recommend it because it's just been such an inspiration for me. Like, I don't know why, but the AT, there's a lot of hype with it and there's a lot of media with it. And there's just like a lot of information. Like it's so easy for me to find AT information. But when I start looking at Florida Trail information, there's still a lot of areas on the Florida Trail that aren't even orange marked, like the mark's not even out there yet. So this is going to come in very handy. I know about the Far Out app and all that stuff, but I'm not a real technological person. So I see myself more as like ordering the actual Florida Trail maps, when the time comes. Like as I get into the fall season and I start getting a little bit closer to the actual kickoff, I see myself like getting the actual Florida Trail maps and using them rather than any app or my telephone. I mean, I have a telephone. I'm making this video is on an iPhone, and I'm a little bit familiar with it, but I'm I'm not super highly proficient technologically. I'm still working on cutting and editing. I've seen videos where they flow. I've watched lots of videos and it's been a joy to watch them. And I'm so grateful for the people that know what they're doing and how to do them. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I have mentioned before that I have a neighbor who has a YouTube channel, and I think that she'll sit down with me and show me a little bit of what I need to know and how I need to work through the process, because I would like to be able to, once I'm out there physically on the trail, I would, even like if you look at the last video I just posted, like I would have liked to have been able to show you more highlights and taken out some of the more mundane stuff in the middle where I'm kind of repeating or dragging things out. Like I'd like to be a little bit more proficient and with my language and sharing of the videos, because I know your time is valuable, and I respect that. And I remember like when I was thinking about the YouTube channel at the very beginning, I thought, nah, it's not for me. I'm not going to even try it, because I've been doing long distance running for years and years and years, and I don't know. It didn't match up. But I'm really grateful for this opportunity, because I see this as like more of documentation, and long term it's always going to be there for my son if he would like to watch it later on down the road. It's always going to be there. And I think it'll be really interesting as I go through the year and I get closer and closer and closer to the kickoff. I think it'll be really interesting to look back at some of the early videos and see, what I was thinking and how I was doing. I hope I'm thinking correctly. I still have that one foot in front of the other mentality. I mean, ultimately, I'm an ultra runner. Like I finished a 100-mile run. I've completed 86 marathons in my lifetime. Like I think of myself as a long distance runner, not so much a hiker, but I really want to get this done, and I'm just so grateful. Even if one person likes this video or comments on it or even just clicks on it, like I'm so grateful for you guys. Anyway, tonight was to recommend this Florida Trail Guide. I hope that you'll consider it if you're considering doing the Florida Trail. It's Sandra. Her first name is Sandra. Last name is Friend, Friend. And John Keatley, Keatley. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going back to Monday Night Football. Good night, my friends.